Good morning, everybody. If I look exhausted, well, that's because we had a storm roll through last night. Did some damage in part of the area. We have broke a water main or something. That was just a casual storm. The serious winds are yet to come. Uh, a lot of erosion around the area. The landscapers cut the grass down to the dirt, and it doesn't hold water. But you can't tell them anything because they work for a company, and they say cut the grass, and they don't want them to keep coming back. So they tell them cut it close this time. Well, they do. They cut it too close, but that's just life in the fast lane, I guess. Anyhow, that being said, I was up at 4:30 this morning with this storm because there was thunder involved, and if you know anything about dogs, they don't like thunder, and Lucy is no exception. She crawled up on my head last night, and so I didn't sleep for a couple hours, and then I got a couple hours more. It seems like there's a law I can't sleep late, but it's hard around here. Between the heat and the traffic, it gets a little hard to sleep late, and you don't really want to sleep late because you want to get things done early because the heat really comes in the afternoon. And I got to tell you right now, it's pretty hot down here, so what's really happening in the world? Oh, YouTube is starting to let a lot of people they threw off during the COVID for putting phony information up. They're allowing them back on again. It's going to be, you can't trust anything anymore. I don't know how you're going to communicate with each other. If I had the money, I'd go buy a shortwave radio and go back to using shortwave to communicate to my friends and everything. But then they'd have to go buy a shortwave radio, Or you get a satellite phone. Because it's just, everybody's listening in on everything you say. Well, I don't really care. But some people have things they don't want to have happen to them. So, they're worried about things. They're a lot younger. And when you're younger, you worry more about than when you're in your 80s, like you're approaching 80 like me. So that's, a thing to think about. What else? Oh, the Bill of Rights was signed today. And whatever the year was, I forgot. I wrote down the fact that it was signed, but I didn't put the year down. I think it was 1786, but I'm not going to swear to that. Anyhow, I'm not good with numbers in history, so please forgive me. I understand the events that happened. I know the order in which they happened, and I understand a lot of the political reasoning behind some of them, but I'm just not good with dates sometimes. Anyhow, it's a wonder that they still call it the Bill of Rights, and that they haven't really tried to burn that yet. They've tried to burn down the Constitution, but they haven't succeeded with that yet. But you just never know with these people, The First Amendment is always the one that's being tossed around now. It's a freedom of speech. I don't know. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm not necessarily sure that they keep saying that they try to make adjustments to it because this is a 200-year-old document, and so is the same thing with the Constitution, and they try to make but that's what the Supreme Court was supposed to do, to interpret the meanings in the real world as it applies to today. They don't. Right now they're not doing that. They're interpreting them as how they affect Trump's agenda. Because for whatever reason, some people are very disappointed in democracy. And that may be true, you know. I mean, look, it was said that John Kennedy once said, and this was somebody gave this as a reason why he was assassinated, was that the communism in its truest form may be a better form of government than democracy. Now, notice that he said, in its truest form. So far to my knowledge, when you read about the communism, and it doesn't exist in its truest state. Okay, it just doesn't. Not even Russia, nowhere, you know. It's basically been taken over by authoritarians. And I can't believe, though, that the people that are making all these changes and shipping everybody everywhere are listening to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been a failure most of his life. And he'll end up being called a failure at the end of this presidency. You know, that because if some of the things that he's put forward are allowed to stay, there will be consequences. And I'm talking about natural consequences. I'm not talking about, you know, let's go to war or something like that, you know. Although some of the things he said can cause war, you know. I can't see him letting the Jewish state build in Gaza without him being a big part of it, because he wants that. And you know how it is with him in resorts; they don't last long, you know. After he loses this presidency, Mar-a-Lago is going to turn into a possibly a garbage dump they can use it for, or something like that, or they'll build houses on it, because without him it's nothing. And of course, you know, and the same with the golf courses all around the world. You know, they've had problems. Their successes have, you know, not been what they used to be. So oh man, you got this Trump State Department nominee trying to erase thousands of tweets. Well, if he's trying to erase them, there must be something on there that, you know, you can do business with. Kimmel's ratings are through the roof. Trump is supposedly losing his mind over that. He can't lose something he doesn't have. That's my philosophy. So I wish people would say, stop putting headlines up on YouTube that Trump goes ballistic or Trump loses his mind. Trump goes ballistic over breathing, you know, and he did it. So I don't get excited about that anymore. I definitely don't click on those articles, because you have to read 3/4 of the article, which is about something else altogether, before you get to the point where, you know, you're talking about what the headline is. That's just to get you to click on it, you know. And so he gets 25 cents or whatever it is per click, you know. I don't know what it is. I'm not anywhere near that, so I don't get a chance to know what that is. Yeah, Lionel Messi from Spain, Argentina. It's playing the soccer, the best some of the best he's ever played in his life. I like him. He seems to be like a nice guy. Huh. The scientists caught a shark threesome on camera. Huh. I guess they're perverted too, huh? I don't know whether that's a perversion or not. That's just, you know. Severe food insecurity is on the rise in D.C. after Trump's administration's federal cuts. Of course it is. You don't know what you're eating anymore. You've got that idiot in the health department. You know, I loved Bobby Kennedy, you know, and I thought he would be could have possibly turned out to be a better president than his brother, John. But as it turns out, they both had their faults, and as it turns out, this one Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a idiot. I think the family must have dropped him on his head, you know, or he got into the liquor cabinet when, or something when he was a kid, because his brain is fried. You don't totally disregard science the way he did, because that's I don't know how to say that. That's just stupid, when you don't listen to something else and you have a preordained thought and you don't listen to anything else. I forget what that's called. Where you make your decisions, it's like that's why they interview jurors, because you can't come into the jury room with the preordained thought that the person is guilty. And you have to come in more open-minded, and in science is like that. You can't go in because you can make anything to say anything. All right, statistics, science, all that stuff you can convert it to say whatever you want it to say. That's one of the things you learn back in the day, in high school. They don't teach that kind of stuff anymore. Don't know why they do it that way, but they don't. But that was, the way things were thought about back then. Now you can't teach somebody something if they've already made up their mind about it. Going after Tylenol, and it's not specifically Tylenol. I don't know why he brought up Tylenol, because Tylenol isn't really sold a lot down here. But the product that the acetaminophen is, and I don't know how much autism is in this country or any of the other countries that use that drug. It's like I used to take aspirin. I'm still taking aspirin every day for my heart. But they tell you not to. Then they told me to take it, and I just looked at them and said, I have an aneurysm if it starts leaking because of I won't take blood thinners because of that aneurysm. It's not. It's a very strange thing. Because if it starts to leak, it's bad. If a blockage occurs, it could cause it to burst. I mean, there's no. It's more like a lose-lose situation than a win-win situation. But I'm still alive 30 years later, so I'm just not gonna. There's nothing really I can do about it, so I just go about my life. I don't even think. I think about it occasionally when I have issues like something like this about Tylenol, or aspirin or something like that. I get, that's when I go back to that and start, I'll talk about it, but, most of the time I prefer not to talk about it and just, Israel's going to have a serious problem based upon all predictions of the future. It will be the third biggest religion in the world, a third-rate or lower religion when all is said and done. So it's not the religion that you're dealing with when you deal with Israel. You're dealing with politics in a country run by a student of Trumpism. He's not protecting his country. If he thinks he's protecting Israel, he's crazy. Because all he's doing is it's like they used to tell the soldiers when they told a bunch of guys I know were told this, that in the Afghan war, every time you kill an Afghan, you make 100 martyrs. He becomes a martyr, and you make 100 new rebels. And his hope, because that's how big their families were. when you kill one by accident, not if you kill one, I'm not talking about they die in battle. I'm talking about, you shoot one by, you get the person, an innocent person dies. Well, it's the same thing. This TikTok deal that's coming up, man, stay away from that. Seriously. That's TikTok will be probably the most monitored website there ever was. And what's the Gavin Newsom joined Truth Social? That's another bad website. What the hell is he doing? I'll read that later. But I don't know. I'm going through the YouTube stuff now. There seems that there's more emphasis on music and old movies than there is on the news. The Democrats, social, all those people. Oh, there it is. I was looking for podcasts. It's not over there. It's over here. What is this? Trump top accomplice now going to prison. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look that up. They have a new statue out. It's Mount Rushmore of dictators. Trump is on it, of course. And he's saying, take that off that fucking... I don't think he said it like that, but you never know. And a lot of, like, you got this guy Joe Rogan, who's a big Trump supporter, big Trump guy, from what I understand. He is... I have to save this and watch it. Okay, it's I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Oh, Rogan is it's all about him. He, as bad as people think he is and stuff like that, he believes in free speech. So he was on Kimmel's side, and that just pissed Trump off. But you know what? He's on the side of free speech. He has the right to say whatever the hell he wants to, and he believes that Kimmel should have the right to do and say to do his show and say anything he wants to say. So. I have to see this later too. It's a Charlie Kirk video that they keep taking down. Oh, my favorite Warren Zevon song, Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Yep. So where are we time-wise on this thing? Oh, wow, we're way over again. We went over again. So I just go around and I talk a lot of bullshit. I'm still trying to find something that I can get my teeth into and do a whole show about. 15 minutes or so of that, and it's difficult to do that because there's so much bullshit out there, and you want to let everybody know what you think about all the bullshit that's out there. And I think all the bullshit out there is bullshit. So maybe that's the way to do it, huh? All right, listen up. Subscribe to the video if you like it. Comment on it. Tell me you didn't like it. Tell me I'm a fat asshole. I don't care. At least I know you watched it. Anyhow, have a great day. It's Thursday. It's Thursday Night Football. Let me do that real quick for you. Where is it? I can't find it. Because I want to get that out. I like to, give you guys something. The Cardinals versus the Seahawks. 2-2-1 teams. I'm going with Seattle. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I think their team logo is a better looking logo. Okay, so that's it. All right. Bet the house on the Seahawks. All right. Don't do that, please. Don't do that. All right, that's it for me today. Don't forget, subscribe, 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 and I will see you tomorrow.